I'd like to dedicate this film to the memory of my wonderful wife Helen, who sadly passed away on the 30th of August. She was my rock and was so supportive in everything I did. And now is a time of grieving, but hopefully beyond that there'll be a time of healing. And my passion for making music, getting out and about with nature and making these little films, I know will play a big part in that healing process. So I've grabbed a couple of hours for myself to do some filming here at Eyebrook Reservoir, and it's not a bad start. We've got 3 rough right on the water's edge there. I'm just going to stop off at various points around the perimeter road and just film what I can see. Right on the water's edges, well, we've got teal filter feeders sifting through the mud there, which is rich in food. Looking northwards, there's a mix of birds, Canada geese, mallard, and a distinctive white shape of a little egret. And looking across to the far shore, its bigger cousin, the great white egret. And by its side, by the look of it, looks like a shell duck. A few spits and spots of rain coming down at the moment. I had to put a cover quickly on the camera. And yes, it was a shell duck. Looks like a juvenile from here. Lots of mallard here today. This drake having a preen and coming out of eclipse plumage into its breeding plumage. Also on the shoreline there's lots of black-headed gull. Their black head's long gone. I'm going to move on a little bit further. Well, I've driven maybe 200-300 yards further on. Let's see what we can see from here. There's a closer view of the little egret there. And largest group of coot. Now the breeding season's over, they're a lot more sociable. And some geese on the move. These look like Canada geese. After the spits and spots of rain, there's blue sky starting to appear. It is a really pleasant autumn day. More Canada geese flying there. I always think the Canada geese call is much more mellow than the grey lag. The grey lag is quite harsh. There's a few of those out there. I've moved on a little further up towards the northern end, and it does look like mostly Canada with a few grey lag, but it's always worth looking at geese for something rarer like a bean goose or white-fronted goose. Looking out, there's also gadwall and of course cormorant using the nesting platforms as a perch. Just going to head up to the bridge at the northern end, see what's on view from there. I checked on Leicester and Rutland bird sightings and there'd been little stint seen here, but I think they're further out on the mud. Looking way up at the end there, we've got an adult moorhen and a youngster. And the little egret has just taken flight with another one, which must have been hidden somewhere. And yet more geese flying in. A few ducks at the inflow as well, mainly mallard, but a couple of teal feeding. And looking out on the mud where I think the little stints would have been, there's a grey heron. You can see the heat haze there. It is a very pleasant, warm autumn day. And as I'm about to move on, this mute swan emerges from the water. This is the Leicestershire side of the reservoir, looking back in the direction that I've just come. And there's the grey heron from a different angle. And the 2 little egrets have just flown in once again. Looking at the shoreline now, we've got Canada geese, and just to the left of us spotted there's some pochard, and there are the 3 rough. One has just flown further up. There's 3 of them, so I'm guessing they're the same birds we saw earlier. They've flown across to forage on the Leicestershire side of Eyebrook Reservoir, and there is a common sight on most reservoirs or waterways in the UK, the grey lag. I know the grey lag and Canada geese are common sights in the UK, but I just love the sound they make, especially in the autumn. The reservoir and surrounding habitat are classed as areas of special scientific interest, and of course now the nesting season is safely over. It's a time for hedge cutting, and a nice way to end this film is this good view of this black-tailed godwit, a little less rare than the bar-tailed. I always think it's a slightly more leggy, more elegant bird, arguably. Well, that's it. Nice to be out and about in these sad circumstances, but watching wildlife and filming is going to be a huge part of my healing process. I'll see you soon.